So what is your current job title and position, and how long have you been in this role?
So currently I am finishing my bachelor's degree in animal behavior, and I should graduate in May of this year. And while I've been getting my degree, I've been working, I've worked for 3 years at the New York Aquarium in Brooklyn, New York, and I was an education volunteer and an animal care volunteer. In the summer of 2015, I was a resident camp counselor at SeaWorld San Antonio, and then this past summer, I was what was I? An animal care and training intern at the Dolphin Research Center in the Florida Keys. So while finishing my degree, I've had a couple different jobs in kind of the marine zoological industry.
Okay, how did you land in that position?
So since I decided that I wanted to enter the industry pretty young, I started looking for opportunities to volunteer and to get involved. So that was how I ended up at the New York Aquarium. And then I moved out to Texas to study animal behavior at the university that I'm at, because it offers it as a major. And then the other jobs, I got a combination of, looking around, finding opportunities, applying, and sort of building off the experiences that I'd had. So like each job kind of built off the experience that I'd had in the jobs before it.
Okay. What did you enjoy most about this job?
So there's a lot of really fun parts of working with zoological animals, especially marine mammals. I think the most fun thing is that you get the opportunity to build really strong, positive relationships with the individual animals. So that was something I really got to do a lot this last summer when I was at the Dolphin Research Center. And I really got to know some animals on an individual basis, and we got to sort of, make a really good, positive, strong relationship with them. And then, they learned about me and I learned about them. And it was, kind of like making friends with a human, but with a little bit of a language barrier. So I think that's like a really fun thing to do. Obviously you get to learn from people who are already in the field the best ways to develop those relationships with animals, and it's definitely a skill that you develop over time.
Okay, and what's your major in college?
So my major is a Bachelor's of Arts in Animal Behavior, and a Bachelor's of Arts in Animal Behavior is very similar to some schools will allow you to double major in biology and psychology, and it's very similar to that. So if you did that at really any school that offers those two, you'd be very similar to the program that I'm doing here.
Okay, what do you like least about your job?
Most things that aren't to like about working with animals, it's pretty kind of like little tiny unimportant things. It's stuff like, oh, you have to get up really early. Oh no, I've been out in the sun all day. I got dehydrated. Like, I got weird tan lines. They're little like insignificant things, in the bigger picture. Obviously sometimes things might get a little frustrating because, animals aren't machines. They have their own personalities. And so, sometimes you can have a frustrating day, but overall that doesn't even, come close to the positives of the job. And if you really like what you're doing, the positives far outweigh the negatives.
Okay. Do you prefer to work in a group or by yourself?
So it depends on what aspect of the job you're working on. So a lot, especially when you first get started working with marine zoological animals, a lot of it is cleaning and support based. So you're going to be prepping diets, you're going to be cleaning dishes, you're going to be cleaning facilities, cleaning habitats, maybe doing some spotting and watching people for safety, or maybe talking to some guests or like leading some tours or something like that. So you're really going to start. You're not going to start out necessarily working hands-on with the individual animals. That comes a little bit later. Now, when you are doing some of that, more support-based stuff, so stuff like cleaning and support, like cleaning facilities and prepping diets, it can be helpful to do those things on teams, since, if you're all working together and really, churning it out, you can get it done really, really quickly and efficiently, which is great. When it comes to building your individual relationships with the animals, that's usually best to do, obviously with good guidance, but by yourself, and that's something that it works best if you are focusing on your relationship with the animal, just you, and really working to strengthen it and make it really positive. So it depends on what part of the job, but both are really, really important skills to have. It's really important to be both self-motivated and self-starting and a team player. Those are really important skills to have if you want to go into this field.
Okay. Do you have a favorite animal that you have worked with or haven't worked with yet?
So my favorite animals that I have worked with, I would say, are probably California sea lions. They're a lot of fun because a lot of them are very engaged with what you're doing. So a lot of times, you can walk up to a sea lion and they'll be like, "Oh, all right, like, yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. Let's go." Which obviously all different species, individuals of all species, can be like that. But I've especially found the sea lions to be that way, and it's a lot of fun to start to build your relationship with them. So I'd have to say sea lions are my favorite that I've worked with. That I haven't worked with, I really enjoy killer whales and looking. I think they're really striking animals and striking species, and they're really interesting from a training perspective because they're so intelligent, because they operate in such a specific way. Like each group of whales is its own sort of entity, and it's a very interesting thing as a trainer to kind of adapt to that. So those would be my two favorites that I worked with and that I haven't.
Okay. Have you traveled a lot with your job?
Actually, yes. Not everyone who gets this job does travel a lot. I've gotten lucky. I've been able to do that. I've worked in a couple different places in the country, and I've also done some traveling for some professional development. I've gone to 2 of the International Marine Animal Trainers conferences. One of them was in the Bahamas, and the other one was in San Diego, and I've gotten to go to both of those, which have been really fun. And I've sort of made friends all across the country from this job, so I've been able to travel around and see all of them and get to know people all across the country. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's definitely a perk to get to go and see all these different places and what's going on sort of in all these different types of facilities.
Did you ever have doubts about pursuing this major?
This isn't really a job that you can fall into very much. It takes a lot of perseverance to get into this field. And I mean, obviously, I'm not even technically a working professional yet, since I'm still sort of completing my degree. But ever since I decided that I wanted to do it, there really hasn't been doubt that I wanted to do it. I knew that there's going to be some challenging aspects to getting into the field, but overall, it's what I want to do, and I'm going to pursue it, despite those more challenging, parts. And sometimes, a lot of jobs, they have swim tests before you have to get them. And you have to take a swim test typically before you even interview for the job, because you need a certain level of fitness and a certain level of comfortability in water before they'll even look at you for a marine zoological position most of the time. And so, that's a pretty challenging thing, and it's a skill set that you have to develop, and you have to, be comfortable with it, and so sometimes that can be hard and be discouraging. And, I've definitely had times where I'm like, man, this is really hard working up to this, and I hope I can do it, and be capable of it someday. But other than that, other than really confronting some of the more challenging aspects of getting into the industry, really hasn't been a lot of doubt about whether I wanted to do it or not.
Okay, and the last question is, out of all of the places that you've traveled, do you have one that's your favorite, and why is that one your favorite?
So, I mean, the first zoological facility I ever went to was SeaWorld Orlando, and so I have a special place for SeaWorld Orlando in my heart. And obviously everywhere I've worked, so the Dolphin Research Center and then SeaWorld San Antonio and the New York Aquarium, obviously, I'm going to be partial to those because I've worked there, volunteered there, whatever it may be. And but honestly, every facility is so different, and they all got their own thing going on, and you get a very different experience from all of them. So even working for a company like SeaWorld versus working for a company like the Dolphin Research Center, those are very different environments, and so you learn different skill sets in each of those environments, which is a cool thing. And it's a neat thing about this industry that there's so much diversity within the facility. So just because somebody's got dolphins doesn't mean that they're going to work with their dolphins the same way, or the environment's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be this new thing each time. So that's something you can learn from and take with you as a professional. So it's not really about having favorites as much as it is learning different things and new things from each location that you're at and in each place you visit and the people that you meet. Because there are a lot of really once you meet really strong people in the industry and industry leaders and everything, you learn that everybody's got their own style, and so you can look at them and and watch them and decide, you know, who's really got the style that you're most interested in, and learn from them, and you get some good role models to follow throughout.
Okay, well, that was really helpful. Thank you so much.
Awesome, you're so welcome.